Bjergsen and Team Liquid are coming into the 2022 season with some very, very high expectations. There's going to be a ton of pressure put on them, not only by themselves, but also by the fans, the community, I'm sure the coaching staff, the organization. They are under a lot of pressure to perform and perform very, very quickly. This is a team that is loaded with a ton of veterans, a ton of stars, but I know I've talked about this before. They're not without, potential troubles. Bwipo, had varying levels throughout 2021, especially as a top laner in the spring. He wasn't that insane. Santorin's had health issues. Bjergsen took this last split off. The bot lane should be pretty solid with Hansama and Core JJ, but how's Hansama going to, transition over to North America? How's Core JJ going to play with the new AD carry? There's all this pressure and expectations and everything going into Team Liquid into 2022, but a lot on Bjergsen as well. Replacing Jensen, coming back from being a coach, trying to add to his domestic legacy, but also trying to create an international legacy. He has no excuses this time. He has the team, the coaching staff, the organization, the resources, everything in place. So today we're going to be talking about his most recent boot camp into Korea, and why some people, think it didn't go too well, and some people are pretty concerned, not only for Bjergsen, but for Team Liquid heading into the new season. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate it a ton, and subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. I think we're like 40 subscribers away now. 10 days left in the year. I don't know. Let's hit it. Let's do it. I'm going to be so excited once we finally get there. It's going to be like, a weight off my shoulder. So help us out. With that being said, let's get right into this. So Bjergsen went to Korea by himself on a solo boot camp. We've seen TSMs going on a team boot camp to Korea December 27th. We've seen Cloud9 is already at Korea doing a team boot camp. Different teams are doing all different kinds of stuff. Team Liquid not doing anything like that. I don't think they're going to Korea at all. I think they're just going to be kind of scrimming in North America. It was just kind of, if you want to go over to Korea, you can, but you don't have to. And obviously Bjergsen chose to go over there. He wants to get back up to speed, and he thinks Korean solo queue is, kind of the fastest, best way, whatever, to start ramping himself up. And I think he wants to prove to himself that, hey, I can go on a mission by myself, grind a bunch of games, get ready for the season, because not only does he need to prove his level, he also needs to prove, that he has the motivation, the attitude, everything, and the physical and mental state to be able to play, League of Legends for 15 hours a day, like professional players have to at some times. So he went over there, did that all by himself, and some people think this was cool, some people think this is awesome, some people think it didn't go so well. So what we have here is from Mobalytics, a little infographic about Bjergsen's Korean solo queue climb. So he went over to Korea. I don't know how long he was there. I want to say like 2 weeks, but maybe it was a little bit less even. I don't know. This thing says it was like 5 days or something. It definitely wasn't that, but I think in over the course of 2 weeks he played 260 games. Overall he had a 55% win rate, and it's like, oh, that doesn't seem too bad. 55% win rate in Korean solo queue, that's pretty good. But you have to keep in mind, he started, I do believe, on a fresh account, like not a Riot account, not a boosted MMR account, not anything like that. And obviously he started in gold, and he played through plat, and he played through diamond. So that's a 55% win rate with many games being in gold, platinum, diamond elos. Obviously he ends up getting to master, but this is where, people start getting a little bit skeptical of what actually went on with Bjergsen, and getting a little bit skeptical and worrying about the level and the form that he's bringing into the 2022 season, because he got stuck in low master. You can see here, he never made it out of low master. It's not like Bjergsen went for 2 weeks and, shot up to Grand Master or contested for Challenger or anything like that. He played a lot of games, 260 games, had a decent win rate, but again, a lot of that is boosted through the lower elos, and then got stuck in master. Now, is this concerning? Is this not? Some people are definitely concerned about this. They're saying, yeah, Bjergsen took a year off. He was unmotivated. He's not going to be able to come back and dominate right away. Team Liquid is not going to be good in 2022, or maybe they're not going to be good in the lock-in tournament, or not. Maybe they're not going to be good in spring split, or maybe just people going as far as to say that Bjergsen will never be a top player again. It's hard to leave competitive and then come back and try and ramp up. Like, all the players that he's going to be playing against didn't take last year off. They've been grinding. They know the meta a little bit better. They know all the new champions a little bit better. They know the new meta, all the new items, all this stuff, where Bjergsen took a year off, and, he said when he was coaching, he played the game to some extent, but he was mostly playing jungle. He hasn't been playing all the mid lane matchups. He hasn't been playing, a couple new mid lane champions came out. Akshan is there, Yone is there, Vex is there. He's not as comfortable on some of these champions, but not only not comfortable on those champions, but not necessarily comfortable laning against those champions and everything like that. So some people think this is very, very concerning. Here is, his kind of his breakdown by role. He actually had an even lower win rate in the mid lane, 54.5% win rate in the mid lane. Support, jungle, top all went pretty good, but mid lane was below his overall win rate, which is not a great sign. This gamer performance index, which just kind of, calculates everything he has going on. Some kind of concerning things there. He did really well in terms of farming, versatility. That's things Bjergsen's absolutely known for. Survivability, objectives, consistency, all great. Vision, not so good. Aggression, not so good. That's not really a great sign. Team TSM and Bjergsen, historically are known for being slow, methodical, playing that old school Korean style, and that's just not where the game is at in present day League of Legends for the most part. Who knows if the game will change a little bit in 2022 now that we have objective bounties and, some comeback mechanics and stuff. Maybe slower, more methodical play will come back into the game. But, people want Bjergsen, and people have always wanted Bjergsen and TSM to be more aggressive, more proactive. Maybe in solo queue he hasn't been doing that. And then the fighting is really not a good sign. That is something that people have been very, very critical about when they're looking at this infographic thing, because as we can see here, in his fighting, they have this little breakdown of duels, picks, skirmishes, team fights. I think duels is like 2v2s. I think picks is like, a XV1. I think skirmishes is like 3v3-ish type. And then team fights is, 4v4, 5v5. And he has bad win rates, In duels, he has a 37% win rate. In skirmishes, he has a 38% win rate. In team fights, he has a 42% win rate. So, he's not really doing good in fights. His teams and himself are losing a lot of these fights overall. Now, obviously, he was still winning a lot of games. He still had a 55% win rate. He's probably, out macroing people, playing the game better than people. He's farming, he's winning the fights that matter. He's ramping up, he's scaling up. And I don't know exactly how accurate all of these stats are. It is just kind of mobalytics, cherry picking or whatever. But, not a great sign. And a lot of people who were watching his streams, a lot of people who were, doing VOD reviews and everything were critical of Bjergsen in a lot of ways. And again, critical of him in Diamond and Master Elo solo queue games. Yes, it is Korean solo queue. Yes, it is, a higher level and all that stuff. But a lot of people were not impressed. And a lot of people are definitely worried. Some of the other stuff going on here is some of the champions he's playing. He was playing a lot of different champions. Like I said, some of the newer champions, Vex, Yone, playing a lot of them. And it seems like it went well overall. 57% win rate on Vex, 47% win rate on Yone. Not great, but he still gained 2 LP with him. Some other champions he did well with: Twisted Fate, Lux, Galio, Tryndamere. But kind of concerning for me, he wasn't doing well on Zoe, which is a champion he's known for. That's like a classic Bjergsen pick. Zillion, not doing good. Syndra, not doing good. Victor, not doing good as far as, gaining LP and actually climbing and winning games and stuff. So it's kind of weird. I just don't really understand this when I'm breaking it down, So there is definitely a lot of things to be worried and concerned about. And the question starts creeping into our mind. How good is Bjergsen going to be at all in 2022? We don't know. He's going to have a long season ahead to ramp up. A lot of scrimming, a lot of games. I think in the long term, he's going to be fine. I think come summer split 2022, he's going to be absolutely fine. Could he be off to a little bit of a slow start in lock-in? Yeah, absolutely. Could he be off to a slow start in spring split 2022? Yeah, absolutely. And again, if Team Liquid starts losing games, if they start struggling, even in the regular season, the haters, the doubters, the critics are going to be there. They're going to be very, very vocal. They're going to be loud. And that's going to start adding to the pressure. That's going to start adding to the noise. TL is a super veteran team. I hope and don't think that noise and that chatter and everything is going to get to them. But maybe some frustrations start popping up. Maybe some issues start popping up. This is something that could absolutely take down a super team. And especially Bjergsen, who is replacing Jensen. A guy who's been with Team Liquid for a couple of years now. A guy who was pretty successful overall with them. Domestically, had a lot of good years. Internationally, was one of their better performing players, even though TL wasn't able to take that next step. TL is already going to have a ton of haters, a ton of critics, a ton of pressure expectations, like I've said a million times in this video, but also Bjergsen having all those expectations as well. He's, the new guy on this team. He kicked to Jensen. He's replacing him, and he's the one who has the, track record of not performing internationally. He needs to come in and do well, and just a lot of people, based off just his Korean solo queue, are not super excited. They're not feeling great about this. Now, at the end of the day, I do just think it's solo queue. I don't think it really matters that much. I think he was playing to improve. I think he was playing a lot of new champions. I think he's, playing a new style. I think it's still early days of him grinding and getting back into shape. And this is preseason. They're preseason games. It's preseason meta. Nobody knows what's going on. It's not scrims. It's not professional play. It's just solo queue at the end of the day. We've seen people dominate solo queue and suck competitively. We've seen people struggle a little bit in solo queue and be great competitively. I am really not concerned about this. I do not think it matters. Until we see Bjergsen on the stage, inting his brains out or sucking or looking like, not the old Bjergsen at all, then I'll be concerned. But am I too worried about some solo queue games? Absolutely not. But I also understand if some people are, but that's just, not my prerogative, not where I'm at. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Tell me, drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Are you worried about Bjergsen heading into 2022? Do you think the solo queue matters? Doesn't matter? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.